this slide he's going to share with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here to share this time in which I hope we learn something about being an interactive teacher. Teach not only English, but any other subject in the curriculum. The idea of the papers on the chairs is to make this presentation interactive. So if you like, you can group in pairs or in three. Because as the presentation goes, I'm going to be asking questions so that you have the chance to get involved and you don't get bored. Okay? So I don't know if you want to revolve the chairs and get the rules. Okay, you have a couple of papers.
Yes.
You have a couple of papers. You have the oral presentation handout, and you have the slides.
Yes.
Okay, on the slides you have the quotations. Okay, and this is the oral presentation handout. So we're going I'm going to be speaking across. Okay. So the topic of the oral presentation is managing the interactive classroom. So I'm going to start by asking the following question. What does the title suggest to you? The title of the dissertation is Managing the Interactive Classroom. So my question is, to break the ice, what does the title suggest to you?
To optimize or to make the best out of or having a control of.
Okay. What if we break out the words and we reflect and we do some meta language and we reflect on managing, which comes from manager, and interactive, which comes from interaction. Then you put the words together, managing the interactive classroom. What does the title suggest to you?
Make it the best out of interaction and communication.
Good. Interaction, communication. Among
Among us, among the students and the teacher.
Good. Among the students and the teacher. Good. Very good. Somebody else?
How to direct or lead active classroom sessions, students, action students, very interactive. Very active students.
Okay. Very good. Someone else?
I would say that first I thought it was going to be like more addressed to ICTs, but it's not only ICT, I would say. It involves more than only technology.
Okay. Good. Somebody else? Okay. So there you have the table of contents on the third page. Then you have the abstract. Okay. And the abstract is composed of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 5 paragraphs. So I'm going to assign a piece of fragment to each group. Okay? So, okay, you three will be in charge of abstract. Okay? You will be in charge of the abstract. Okay, you three will be in charge of the introduction until the quotation, which is communicated as. You two will be in charge.
What's page?
That's page 4. Page 4. You will be in charge of the third paragraph until the people's future as follows. Starting on page 4 and goes to page 5, first paragraph. And the rest of the group, the rest of the auditorium will be in charge of group work, and group work. Okay. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes so that you read and then you share your insights about what you read. Okay? 5 minutes. Okay, enough. Okay, number one group.
The abstract speaks of the theories that have been exposed by these two scholars, Richter and Rogers. And they expose that the speakers in a foreign language, what makes possible an individual learning, what makes it a social is the application of the speech acts or texts that are taught through a language which are all components that are used and brought into class.
Okay, very good. Okay, which are the levels of speech acts? After the level. Which are the levels of speech acts? So we have a locutionary,
Right.
illocutionary, and perlocutionary. And if we jump from speech acts to linguistics, then we have the literal word, we have the semantic, the literal meaning, the semantic meaning, and the pragmatic meaning. Okay? So the only way the individual meanings the person who is studying the target language makes or learn, the only way to make those individual meanings social is by using the language. There is not any other way. So you forget about asking your learners to build or to write isolated sentences just for the main share of that. That's good for them. Okay? So you need to take your students to the pragmatic level of language, which is interaction. You need to take your students to the perlocutionary speech act, which is interaction, which is language use. In that way, our students will pick up the language. Okay? Second group. Okay.
Okay, it says that language learning is essential and cultural activity, but it doesn't take place alone. It begins in the classroom, and when the teacher in the classroom facilitates students that ways of speaking. It takes place a social interaction between teachers, students, teacher, and the group kids. And it says too that the process of speaking goes from the teacher to the student. Okay, that's here. Is that in the rest?
Okay. There's a paradox. There's a paradox when learning any subject. And my question is, where do you basically learn? Where? Where? On the streets, at the university, in the bathroom? Yeah, anywhere. You learn anywhere. Okay? As long as you interact with the object of learning. But where in your body? Where in your body did you learn? In your mind. That's right. You learn in your mind. So you have a mind, you have a mind, you have a mind. So that's why the literature says that learning is an individual activity. Because you learn here. But the information that comes in here, that's a public context. So, how do you translate this to your language classroom? If you don't give your students interaction activities, they will accumulate single words, and single words, and single words, and single words, and they won't be able to speak. They won't be able to produce discourse. And I'm going to tell you my own story. when I was at the Colombo. My father is an English teacher, and he was the coordinator at the Colombo in Cartagena. And once, in course 11, I addressed my teacher. I said, hey, teacher, they don't are. They don't are. What do you think about that? Why? Lack of practice. A lot of information. And my mind got confused when using the forms of the language. And if you do not want that to happen to your students, you need to provide your students with oral tags, oral interaction tags, so that they use the language from the very first moments of the class. Remember that developing the communicative competence, which is communicative abilities and grammar competence, is the desired goal of every person who comes to a language curriculum. Nobody in the world comes to you, teacher, I want to learn English because I want to know linguistics. Teacher, I want to learn English because I want to know how to conjugate verbs. No, teacher, I want to learn English because I'm in love with a foreign girl. Teacher, I want to learn English because I want to travel abroad. So people want to learn English for social reasons. So you need to understand that language has a social purpose. And you need to make that social purpose real in the class by giving your students interaction activities. Okay, number 3. Number 3? Okay.
Interaction involves communication in different forms. Group work, individual work, collaborative work. Group work supports second language to be meaningful meanings for both speaker and listener. Group work is beneficial for lifelong learning and develop other people's features.
Okay. What is the major characteristic of people? We are social. We are social entities. Okay? So, when you ask your students to work in group, okay, you are telling them that knowledge, science, and everything is constructed socially. That you are not the almighty in the world. That you have valued things, but some other people also have valued things. And when working in groups, okay, we see mixed abilities. In groups, we have poor students and good students. And good students help poor students. Okay? So that's one of the benefits of putting our students to work in group. 4. Who has 4? Nobody? Okay, very good. So, let's go to the warm-up questions. Question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, and the rest, question number 5. Okay? 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Okay, let's begin. Question number 2. Question number 2. Who has question number 2? What an approach is and which are its fundamental components? Okay, here you have the answer. Okay. What's an approach? An approach is a theory of language and a theory of learning. So, my question is, what's your name? Yes. Maria del Carmen. What's your approach to language teaching? So, your answer should be, my approach to language teaching is one of this and one of this. Do you really understand? Approach. That's a very famous word in language teaching. Enfoque. ¿Cuál es tu enfoque de enseñanza? What is your approach to language teaching? So your approach consists of one of this and one of this. Okay? Oh, my approach is structuralism. This is the way you teach English. You teach French. You teach German. You teach Italy. Okay, so if your approach is structuralism, then you are going to make a great focus on grammar. Okay? And the learning theory is going to be behaviorist. It's going to be repeat after me for non-communicative purpose. Okay? No. My approach is functionalism. Then you're going to teach your students how to do things with the language. And that is what you see on the book grades. Making telephone calls. Asking for a date. Getting to places. Asking for food. That is functionalism. Yes?
Could that be paraphrased as the communicative approach?
It is. It is communicative. That is the beginning of the communicative approach. Because then, communicative approach advanced to interaction. Then, advanced to task-based learning. Then, advanced to content language learning, content-based. And then, it finally advanced to CLIL, content language integrated learning. But the beginning of the communicative approach is functionalism. This is the beginning. So do you want to be a communicative teacher? Teach your students how to do things with the language. And then you advance to interaction. Okay, third question.
Related with what you are saying, out of the three major of theories of language, which one do you think is the most suitable to develop students' communicative
Which one?
I think it's functionalist
Functionalism and
behaviorist.
no, functionalism and interaction.
Okay.
And the theory of learning is cognitive. Okay? Number four. Do you believe that the word approach is paramount in the practice of language teaching and learning?
Yes.
Of course it is. Okay? Absolutely, yes. And what's your view on interaction, group work, assorted factors in interaction classroom and classroom? Okay, let's go ahead. Okay, page 7. Page 7. Interaction defined. What's interaction? Somebody help me, please.
Interaction is a language learning theory,
Okay,
social communication among the members of language community,
here you have it.
someone's linguistic reaction to someone's
Here you have it. Interaction is a, what's interaction?
Theory.
Language theory.
language.
Okay? What's your name?
Jorge David.
Listen. Look. What's your name?
Jorge David.
My name is Ivan. Where do you live?
Live in Cali.
I live in Cartagena. How old are you?
38.
I'm going to be 43 tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
We already know that. We already know that.
Okay, thank you. So listen. Action and reaction. Action and reaction. Action and reaction. Linguistic actions, linguistic reaction. That is interaction. Okay? Sources. Sources of interaction. Sources. Where does interaction